My name is Michael Harris, 34 years old, project coordinator for a construction supply company in Richmond, Virginia. I deal in concrete, steel, lumber, delivery schedules, and men who don't have time for excuses. 6 years married to Emily, and for most of it, I told myself we were fine. Not great. Not romantic comedy happy. Just fine. We had a routine. I worked my 45 hours, sometimes 50. She did marketing for a small local firm, home most nights by 6, dinner together, Netflix, bed. Arguments? Sure. Money, in-laws, stupid things. But we fought like people on the same team. That changed when she got the downtown consulting job. New title. New office with glass walls. New crowd, young, shiny, always networking. And Tyler Brooks, her work best friend. I heard that phrase so many times it turned sour in my mouth. First it was lunch. I'm grabbing a quick bite with Tyler and the team. Don't wait up. Then team happy hours. Then late nights wrapping a client project. Her phone started living in her hand. If it wasn't buzzing, she was checking it. Every time I brought it up, I became the problem. Why is he texting you at 11 on a Tuesday? It's work, Michael. Don't be weird. Do you really need to go out every Friday now? I'm allowed to have a life. You're so controlling. I tried to keep it simple. Boundaries. Respect. Not because I'm some jealous teenager, but because married people shouldn't act single. This isn't about friends, I told her one night. It's about priorities. We barely talk anymore unless it's about your office or some bar downtown. She rolled her eyes so hard I thought they'd stay that way. You're being insecure and old-fashioned. It's 2025. Men and women can be friends. Sure, I said. But friends don't text at midnight asking what you're wearing. She snatched her phone off the counter. You went through my messages? It lit up in my face while we were on the couch. I'm not blind. For a while, nothing changed. The more I pushed, the more she pulled away. Weekends became her time to blow off steam. I became the guy she lived with between selfies and bottom-shelf club photos. Then came Friday night. I was in the kitchen making my own dinner. Nothing special, pan-fried chicken, frozen veggies, rice. The kind of meal you cook when you're used to feeding yourself, even though your tax forms say married. I heard her heels first. She came down the stairs in a black dress. Not just any dress. The one she bought for our anniversary trip 2 years back. The one she wore when she still cared what I thought. Full makeup, hair curled. The expensive perfume I got her and told her to save for special occasions. Apparently clubbing with Tyler qualified. Going out? I asked even though the answer was obvious. She smiled at her reflection in the microwave door more than at me. Yeah, Tyler's got a table at Reverie. Girls from the office are going. Reverie. The place with the VIP booths and bottle service. She shrugged like it was nothing. It'll be fun. Don't wait up. Something in me tightened. Not jealousy. Just this heavy sense of being disrespected in my own house. Emily, I said, setting the spatula down. We need to talk about this. She sighed, the long, dramatic kind. We've already talked. You don't trust me. I get it. This isn't about trust. It's about priorities. You're married. You come home at 2 a.m. 3 weekends in a row. You're glued to your phone with this guy. When I tell you it bothers me, you laugh it off. Do you hear how that looks? She finally turned to face me. Her eyes were cold, distant. Like I was a stranger blocking her door, not her husband. I'm not going to stop living my life because you're insecure, she said. I like going out. I like my friends. I like my job. I'm not going to apologize for that. I'm not asking you to apologize, I said, keeping my voice low, steady. I'm asking you to respect that we're supposed to be a team. You make big parts of your life off limits to me. Then tell me I'm the problem. She grabbed her clutch, checked her lipstick in her phone camera. I could see her already halfway out the door in her mind. If you don't like how I live my life, she said, each word slow and sharp, then just leave. No yelling, no tears, just that flat, dismissive tone like she was asking me to toss the trash on my way out. She turned, walked to the front door, and was gone. Heels clicking down the walkway, engine starting, taillights fading through the front window. The house went quiet. The kind of quiet where you can hear the fridge humming and your own heartbeat in your ears. Her sentence hung in the kitchen like smoke. If you don't like my life, then just leave. So I stood there, staring at the spot where she'd just been, and realized something simple and brutal. Okay, I will. I didn't slam anything, didn't throw a plate, didn't punch a wall. I just turned the burner off, pushed the pan to the back of the stove, and let the silence answer the question she thought was a bluff. If you don't like my life, then just leave. All right. I wiped my hands on a dish towel, walked upstairs, and opened our closet. Her side was a riot of colored dresses, blouses, shoes in neat little rows. My side was work shirts, jeans, a couple of suits, and the life I'd actually built. It hit me fast and clean. I'm done. No big speech. No one last chance. Just a switch flipping. I pulled my phone out and made 3 calls. First, Chris. You still got the truck? Yeah. Why? I'm moving out tonight. Silence on his end for half a second. Then, text me the address. I'll be there in 20. Second call, Daniel. Are you busy? Not really. What's up? I'm leaving Emily. Where are you? Home. For now. I'll be there in 15, he said. No questions. Third call, Tony. You remember that favor you owe me? Yeah, man. I might need a couple hours of lifting and not talking. I'm in. I grabbed 2 suitcases, 3 boxes from the hall closet, and got to work. 6 years of marriage reduced to what I could carry. Clothes first, work stuff, weekend stuff, gym gear, personal documents, birth certificate, passport, social security card, the folder with tax returns. My tools, real tools, not the decorative crap she bought for Instagram photos. The signed baseball from my grandfather. The watch my dad gave me when I turned 30. Family photos without her in them. Me with my parents, my brother and sister, my grandparents. The ones with her, I left on the wall. She could have the memories she turned into a performance. I left the furniture, the dishes, the TV, the hours things. If she wanted life so badly, she could have the props. Chris's truck headlights cut across the front window first. Then Daniel's car. They came in, took one look at the boxes, and didn't say, "Are you sure?" Or maybe talk it out. They just started carrying. We moved like a crew on a job site. No wasted motion. Boxes, suitcases, tools, a couple of plastic tubs labeled in Sharpie. Tony showed up halfway through, nodded once, and fell into rhythm. In under an hour, my side of the closet was bare. Her dresses hung there like they belonged to someone I used to know. Downstairs, I took my ring off. It left a pale band of skin on my finger. Funny how something that small can feel heavier than any box you carry. I grabbed a sticky note from the junk drawer, clicked a pen, and wrote one sentence. You're right. I don't like it. So I left. I set the ring on top of the note, right in the center of the kitchen counter where she loved to drop her keys and phone. One last look around. Same house, but not mine anymore. I locked the front door, went out through the garage, and followed Chris's taillights through the empty streets to his place. I crashed on his sagging spare couch, shoes kicked off, phone face down on the coffee table. No arguments, no lectures, just a blanket tossed at my chest and a quiet, "You're here as long as you need." For the first time in months, I closed my eyes and didn't wake up to a door opening at 3 a.m. or a phone lighting up with someone else's urgent fun. I just slept, straight through. I woke up on Chris's couch to sunlight in my eyes and the smell of cheap coffee. For a second, I forgot where I was. Then the stiffness in my back reminded me. Right, I left. My phone was still face down on the table. No missed calls when I'd crashed. Now the screen lit up like a slot machine. First wave. Confusion. Michael? Where are you? Did you take your stuff? What is this? Then came anger. You're being dramatic. Grow up. You can't just walk out like this. Are you serious right now? By mid-morning, panic. Please answer me. We need to talk. We can fix this. Don't throw everything away over one fight. Chris watched me scroll. You gonna answer any of that? Nope, I said. I'm gonna call a bank and a lawyer. He nodded like he'd already expected that answer. By 10, I was sitting in a small office at a different bank across town. The manager, Tom Jenkins, had gray hair, steady hands, and the look of a man who'd seen this before. So you want to move your direct deposit and most of your funds into a new account, he said. Yeah. Leave enough in the joint account to cover my half of this month's rent. After that, I'm done. He typed a few things, then leaned back. I'd also suggest removing yourself from any joint credit cards, if you've got them. Saves you a lot of headaches later. That's on my list, I said. I'm not paying for bottle service. I'm not drinking. From there, I drove to Blake and Associates. Beige walls, neat lobby. Receptionist who didn't blink when I said, divorce consultation. Karen Blake shook my hand with a firm grip and got straight to it. Mid-40s, sharp eyes, zero fluff. Tell me what I need to know, she said. 6-year marriage, I started. No kids, rental house, separate cars. No real joint assets besides some furniture and a TV. She got a new job downtown, new social life, and an emotional affair at minimum. I asked for boundaries. She told me if I didn't like her life, I should leave. And you did, Karen said. Last night. She asked precise questions, dates, income, timelines. Typed everything while I talked. When I finished, she broke it down. Virginia requires separation for a no-fault divorce, she said. No kids, no real property together, that works in your favor. We document that you moved out, we keep everything clean. I'll draft the separation agreement and send it over. She looked me dead in the eye. The most important part. Do not engage. From now on, if she wants to talk, she talks to me. You don't argue. You don't explain. You don't defend. You let the process work. I wasn't happy. There's nothing happy about ending a marriage. But walking out of that office, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time. A clear path forward. The first few days felt like living in a waiting room, nothing mine, everything temporary. But if my life was on pause, my phone wasn't. Texts, calls, voicemails. Emily, her sister Megan, her mother, her father. Numbers I didn't recognize. I treated it like a job. Step 1, logistics. I texted our landlord, Mr. Collins. Hey, just a heads up, Emily and I are separating. I'll be stepping off the lease at the end of the term. I'll cover my half until then. He replied a few minutes later. Sorry to hear that, Michael. Thanks for the notice. I'll handle the paperwork when it gets closer. Mailing address changed to Chris's for now. HR form updated at work with Daniel as my emergency contact instead of Emily. I sent a simple email to our benefits admin. Please remove spouse from my health insurance effective date. Separation in process. Then the joint credit card. I called, verified my info and said, I want off this account. I'm not responsible for her charges going forward. The rep asked if everything was okay. Yes, I said. That's why I'm doing this now. Meanwhile, my phone looked like a live fire exercise. You can't just disappear. My parents are freaking out. Answer your wife, Michael. How could you embarrass me like this? Megan chimed in. You're being abusive by ghosting her. At least be a man and face her. Block, block, block. I didn't see it as revenge. I called it what it was, clean boundaries. You don't get to talk to me like I'm nothing and then demand access on your schedule. One afternoon, Emily showed up at Chris's place. I watched from the upstairs window as she pounded on the front door for 20 straight minutes. Neighbors peeked through blinds. Chris stood inside, arms crossed, and refused to open. Eventually she left, tires squealing. I didn't feel triumphant, just tired. At work, I stopped by the security desk. Angela, the guard, knew me by name. Hey Angela, I said. My wife might try to come by. We're separating. If she does, she does not have permission to wait inside or follow me around. Angela nodded. If she bothers you, you say the words. What words? Yes, she's bothering me, she said. Say that and I'll handle the rest. 2 days later, Emily tried it. She was waiting outside the front entrance. Eyes red, voice loud. We need to talk, Michael. You can't keep ignoring me. This is insane. Angela was 10 feet away, watching. I took a breath, looked Emily in the eye. Angela, I said, not raising my voice. Yes, she's bothering me. That was it. Angela stepped in, calm but firm. Ma'am, you need to leave the property. I walked past them into the building and did not look back. That night, after blocking 3 more numbers linked to her family, my phone lit up with a long text. I'm pregnant. For a second, my stomach dropped. Then my brain caught up. No intimacy in almost 2 months. She has been on birth control for years. The math didn't work. I took a screenshot and forwarded it to Karen with one line. This is false, but she's desperate. Karen replied a few minutes later. A very common move. Do not respond. Do not acknowledge. If there's anything real, it'll surface legally. Until then, silence. So I drove to a strip mall, walked into a carrier store, and bought a new SIM card. New number, new start. I sent the new number to exactly 6 people. My parents, Daniel, my sister, Chris, Tony, and Karen. Then I powered down the old number and tossed that SIM in the trash on my way out. Let the old phone die with the old life. Word travels fast when someone loses access to their favorite audience. By the end of the week, Emily ran out of ways to reach me directly, so she got creative. I found out at work. Patricia, my boss, called me into her office. She's mid-50s, sharp, the kind of woman who's seen every excuse a man can come up with for being late on a job. I sat down, ready for some scheduling issues. Instead, she folded her hands and said, Your wife called the main line this morning, claimed there was a family emergency and she needed you immediately. My jaw tightened. I'm sorry. She shouldn't have. She held up a hand. Relax. I had the call transferred to me. I told her that if there was a genuine emergency, she should contact the police or the hospital, not your employer. Then I told the receptionist not to forward her calls again. I let out a breath I didn't know I was holding. Thank you. Patricia looked at me for a moment, softer around the eyes. I've been divorced twice, Michael. I know what it looks like when someone tries to drag your job into their drama. You're a solid worker. Handle your personal life however you need to. You're covered here as long as the work gets done. That support meant more than I said out loud. That night, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I answered out of habit. Hey man, it's Tyler. Tyler Brooks. I didn't say anything. He rushed in. Look, I just wanted to clear the air. Emily told me you guys were basically roommates. That it was like an open thing. No hard feelings. She lied. I said. We were married. I asked for boundaries. She ignored them. He was quiet for 2 beats. Okay, well, I didn't sign up for all this messy drama. I think it's better if we just, step back. No bad blood, though. Right? I said. No bad blood. I hung up, stared at the wall for a second, and almost laughed. Guys like him love fantasy. They disappear when the bill shows up. That Sunday, I went back to church for the first time in months. Sat in the middle row alone. The sermon was about laying down what weighs you down instead of dragging it through every season of your life. Felt a little on the nose. After the service, an older couple I vaguely knew, Mr. and Mrs. Howard, stopped me near the door. We've been praying for you, Mrs. Howard said quietly. Mr. Howard nodded. We've noticed things seemed off for a while. You don't have to explain anything. Just know we're in your corner, son. They didn't ask for details. They didn't need a villain. They just offered steady support and walked away. Later that night, I put my earbuds in and checked my voicemail. There it was, Mr. Price. Michael, he started, voice already loaded with judgment. How dare you abandon my daughter like this? After everything our family has done for you? Your grandparents would be ashamed to see you walk out instead of fighting for your marriage. Delete. Mid-rant. I sat there, phone in my hand, and realized something simple. The people who actually know me, my family, my coworkers, my few real friends, they weren't shocked I left. They were relieved I finally did. The ones furious at me were the ones who only ever knew her version of our life. Her drama, her spotlight, her narrative. I decided I could live without their approval. My mom has this rule. The first Sunday of the month is family dinner. No excuses, no cancellations. When everything blew up, she didn't cancel. She just texted, "Dinner at 6. You're still coming." So I went. I got there early to help. My sister was chopping vegetables. Daniel was setting the table. Dad hovered near the counter, pretending to check the roast while really just watching me. "You holding up?" he asked. "I've been worse," I said. He nodded. That was enough. By 6, the house smelled like garlic and roast beef. Normal. Safe. For the first time in weeks, I felt like a son, not a man under investigation. At 6:15, the doorbell rang. My mom wiped her hands and opened it. Emily stood on the porch, Megan right behind her. No black dress this time. Hoodie, leggings, face swollen from crying. She looked small, but I'd learned the hard way that how she looked didn't change what she was capable of. "Hi, Mrs. Harris," Emily said, voice shaking. "Can I talk to Michael? Just 5 minutes. Please." My dad stepped into the doorway, body filling the gap. "This isn't really the time, Emily." Behind him, my mom turned to me. It was my call. I walked to the door, calm, hands dry, heart steady. The whole family was close enough to hear. Emily reached for me like I was a lifeline. "Michael, please. I'm sorry. I didn't think you'd actually leave. I was stressed. I said things I didn't mean." I looked her dead in the eye and gave her own words back to her. "You told me if I didn't like your life, I should leave," I said. "I left. There's nothing to fix." She blinked, stunned, like she'd been slapped. "I didn't mean it like that. I was angry. You're really going to throw away 6 years over one sentence?" I shook my head. "No, I'm ending it because for months, I asked you to stop going out every weekend, to set boundaries with Tyler, to go to counseling. You laughed, rolled your eyes, called me insecure. That sentence was just the moment I finally believed you." Megan jumped in, hot as ever. "You're being cruel. She's trying. Look at her. She's a mess." Where was this effort when I was sleeping next to a woman who couldn't put her phone down? I asked. When I begged her to treat our marriage like a marriage, not a backup plan? Emily had no answer, just tears and shaking shoulders. My dad's voice cut in firm. "You heard him. This is his boundary. We're respecting it." My mom's eyes were wet, but her voice was steady. "Emily, Megan, I think it's best you go now." Megan scoffed, muttered something about me being heartless, and pulled Emily back toward the steps. Emily looked at me one last time like she expected me to break. I didn't. My dad closed the door. The house was quiet for a long beat. Then my sister asked where to put the salad, and somehow, slowly, the conversation drifted back to normal things: work stories, stupid jokes, football. Later, while we were loading the dishwasher, my mom touched my arm. "I'm proud of you," she said softly. "Not for leaving, for standing up for yourself without being ugly about it." I nodded, throat tight but dry. That night, driving back to Chris's, I realized how important that moment was. Not just for me, but for everyone who saw it. I wasn't the man who walked out in the middle of the night anymore. I was the man who stayed gone. A few weeks into the separation, life settled into a strange routine. Work, paperwork, sleep. No drama unless it came through my lawyer. Karen called me on a Tuesday afternoon. "Do you want the good news or the bad news?" she asked. "Good first. Your offer on that 2-bedroom on Maple Street? Accepted." I leaned back in my chair at work, staring at the ceiling. Place that was mine. "All right," I said. "Bad news. Emily's contesting the separation terms," Karen said. "She's demanding spousal support." I actually laughed. "On what planet?" "On the planet where she claims she sacrificed her career for your marriage," Karen said dryly. "She's painting herself as a dependent homemaker." "She makes more than I do," I said. "She's the one with the shiny consulting job." "I know," Karen said. "It's in the paperwork. That's why I'm not losing sleep. But it will drag this out a month or two. She wants leverage. She doesn't have any. The court will see that." I signed the house inspection paperwork the same week. The inspector called it old but solid, kind of like how I felt. While things moved forward on my end, she escalated on hers. One night, Daniel texted, "They're outside again." I looked out his front window. Emily's parents sitting in their car across the street, lights off, engine idling, waiting to run into me. I closed the curtain. "You want me to tell them off?" Daniel asked. "Nah," I said. "Let them waste gas." Then came a random number. I picked it up. "Is this Michael?" a male voice asked. "Yeah. This is Josh, Tyler's brother." He cleared his throat. "Man to man, you don't run away from your problems. You sit down with your woman and handle it like an adult." I hit the speaker and set the phone down. Let him talk himself out for a minute. About being a man, about ownership, about communication. Then I picked it back up. "You done?" "Yeah," he said. "Cool. Don't call this number again." Click. Every sideways move, every guilt trip, every flying monkey went straight into a folder for Karen. I didn't respond, didn't argue, didn't justify. A few weeks later, Karen called again. Her voice sounded lighter. "She's withdrawn the spousal support request and accepted the standard split," she said. "My guess? Somebody finally explained to her that fighting costs money she doesn't want to spend." Or her audience stopped clapping. I said, "That too." When I hung up, I realized the shift. I wasn't just getting away from something anymore. I was moving toward something solid. A clean legal exit. A house with my name on the deed. Ground under my feet that didn't move every time someone else needed attention. The house on Maple wasn't much to look at from the street. Single story, peeling paint on the trim, tired front porch. But it was mine. No joint signatures, no our place. No room for someone else's drama. Chris backed the truck into the driveway and killed the engine. We unloaded my life in under an hour. Same boxes, same tubs, same tools. Just a different destination. "Man," Chris said, looking around the empty living room. "You really don't own much." I shrugged. "Less to carry next time someone tells me to leave." He snorted. "Fair." We dropped an air mattress in what would eventually be the bedroom. A card table in the kitchen. My toolbox is in the corner. The coffee maker on the counter is like a sacred object. No couch, no TV stand, no decor. Just bare walls and open space. After Chris left, I sat cross-legged on the floor with a carton of takeout and a plastic fork. The house was quiet. Not tense, waiting for a fight quiet. Just still. No heels on hardwood. No front door slamming at 2 a.m. No phone buzzing on the coffee table with emergencies that were really just FOMO. Just my own breathing and the hum of the fridge. Halfway through my food, my phone lit up. Old number, unblocked for the first time in weeks. "I hope you're happy." That was it. For words that used to send me into an argument, a defense, a long paragraph explaining myself. Now I just stared at it. I thought about the couch I'd slept on, the bank visit, Karen's office, my parents' doorway, the car parked outside Daniel's house with the lights off. I typed back, "I'm getting there." No lecture, no insult, just the truth. Then I blocked the number again. For good this time. I washed my plastic fork, set it on the counter and walked through the small rooms. Bedroom, spare room, bathroom, back door that stuck a little when it closed. Empty, yeah, but not lonely. For the first time in a long time, the quiet didn't feel like something was missing. Felt like a clean slate. 6 months later, the house didn't echo anymore. The air mattress was gone, replaced by a rail bed I'd hauled in with Daniel one Saturday. The living room had a hand-me-down couch from Chris's cousin, a coffee table somebody left by a dumpster that I sanded and stained. The kitchen held a scarred wooden table I built myself on weekends. Nothing fancy, just solid, square, and mine. Life was smaller, but it fit. Work noticed. Patricia called me into her office one morning. Same no-nonsense expression as always. "We're promoting you to senior coordinator," she said. "You're reliable, calm under pressure. You don't bring chaos in with you." When I got home that night, I dropped the offer letter in a drawer and went back to sanding the last edge of the table. The win felt good, but not like a movie ending. More like one more piece clicking into place. The divorce decree came on a random Tuesday. Plain envelope, county return address. I opened it at the kitchen table, coffee mug at my elbow, sun coming in crooked through the blinds. Pages of dry legal language that boiled down to one simple reality. It's done. No kids. No alimony. No property fights. Just a stamped, signed confirmation that the life I'd been living like it was over officially was. I filed the papers in a folder in the bottom drawer. No ceremony. No burning, no speeches. Just documented, stored, finished. That weekend, Chris and Daniel came over for burgers and a game. We ate off mismatched plates, yelled at bad calls, talked trash like teenagers. So, Daniel said during halftime, "How's it feel to be officially single?" I took a drink of my beer. "Like the paperwork finally caught up," I said. "I've been single since the night I packed my boxes." Midway through the fourth quarter, my phone buzzed with an unknown number. I heard it's final. "I just wanted to say I'm sorry for everything. You deserved better. Emily." I let the silence stretch. The game kept going. My friends kept talking. The world didn't tilt. Then I typed back, "I know. That's why I left." No anger. No victory lap. Just the truth she'd never wanted to face. I blocked the number, set the phone face down, and leaned back into the couch. In that moment, I realized something I wanted every man hearing this to understand. You can't talk someone into respecting you. You can't love them hard enough to make them loyal. You can't fix a marriage alone. But you can decide what you'll tolerate. You can walk away from someone else's chaos. You can build a quiet, boring, solid life that belongs to you. And if they ever text you from the wreckage they chose, telling you that you deserved better, you can agree. Because by then, you'll already be living it.
Subscribe and stay one step ahead of cheaters. And trust me, the next story makes this one look like a fairy tale.